and thank you for watching Joy in Our Town on TBN. I'm your host, Jaquetta Williams. You know, the American Red Cross responds to nearly 70,000 disasters every year in the United States, and that ranges from house fires, earthquakes, and most recently, hurricanes. They help with things like shelter, food, mental, and health services. Joining me now is Davina Mims Puckett with the American Red Cross. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's first talk about, because I know you all have been working tirelessly here, particularly with back-to-back hurricanes, and now you have wildfires in California. Talk about what the Red Cross does.
Right now, in the past 7 weeks, the Red Cross has responded, like you said, to back-to-back hurricanes, Harvey, Irma, and Maria. And we've also helped to respond to the mass shooting in Las Vegas, as well as Hurricane Nate, which made landfall in Mississippi. Red Cross has served more than 6.5 million meals during this time. We've also supplied folks with relief items, 3 million of those, and also provided more than 1.2 million overnight stays in emergency shelters. So yes, we are really busy.
I know you guys have been working tirelessly, but there are certain things that the Red Cross does that people are aware of, but there are certain things that you don't do. Make our viewers aware of what you actually do and don't do.
Red Cross is just one organization that's part of a larger relief emergency response organization. It takes more than just the Red Cross to help people get back on their feet after disaster. So we work very closely with our government partners like FEMA to make that relief possible. Red Cross does not rescue people. We all comfort and hope is what we bring. And safety is always at the forefront of that. So we always want to make sure that our volunteers are safe. So we don't go into disaster areas until it's safe to do so. But once we're there to provide emergency evacuations, shelter support, stand up massive relief operations, which help provide food, blankets, and provide all of those items you and I took for granted yesterday. Something simple like a toothbrush, a comb, a washcloth may seem very simple to us, but it really helps someone bring back that normalcy. So those are some of the first things that we do. Aside from that, we also provide disaster mental health support. Mm-hmm. That's a very critical component after you've experienced something as traumatic as a hurricane or as devastating as a flood or a wildfire. We want to make sure people are able to be resilient and come back from that. So we have trained workers there to help with that disaster mental health component and speak with someone to make sure they're okay.
Let's talk about the fact that normally when we encounter a hurricane, it's one, and then we have an opportunity to kind of rebuild and then get back on our feet. But when you have Harvey, Irma, Nate, Maria, I don't know if I put them in the right order, but you know what I mean. That's 4, and then tack on the shooting, and then tack on the wildfires. You need a lot of volunteers or a lot of people to help with that number of people who've been affected.
The amount of historic storms that we've seen in just the past 7 weeks is astonishing, right? And it takes all of our support, the generous donations from the public. It takes us working closely with our government partners. It takes everyone to kind of band together when we're faced with something so massive. And we'll be in these communities as long as it takes. Red Cross is just, again, one organization that's helping to help people.
You mentioned washcloths and the simple necessities that become major things when you are really in need. But can you talk about also, do you need blood? Do you need those type of things when disasters like this happen as much or not as much?
Every disaster is going to be unique, and our approach to how we respond to it is just as unique. Where blood products were needed quickly in an emergency situation like Las Vegas, they weren't needed as much in responding to Hurricane Harvey. The difference also is that with storms, we have the ability to plan ahead and pre-position blood products, supplies, cots, food, ready-to-eat meals ahead of a storm so that we have what we need.
So what do you say to people who watch this and they say, okay, either I want to volunteer or either I want to be on the front lines? What does it take in order to do so?
I think for anyone wanting to volunteer or figure out a way they can help, I know the pictures are extremely compelling and you just want to do something. Giving your blood is a great thing. Blood is always in constant need. After a shooting or some type of tragedy or emergency, it's the blood on the shelves that actually helps save the lives. And then we ask our community to help replenish those blood products to continue to make those life-saving products available day to day. The American Red Cross symbol is just world renowned. It's easily recognizable. People know it to be a safe refuge and a place where you can go get comfort, support, and help. And like you said, Red Cross responds to nearly 64,000 disasters every single year. And so we are the experts at helping you rebuild, helping you think about those things that you may not have thought about after a home fire, or how do I go on, or what are the things that I should be thinking about after I've just lost everything. And so you can come to Red Cross, and trained folks are here to help you get those questions answered.
When you have an emergency like a hurricane, are the needs different from a hurricane to a house fire to wildfires? Are the needs different, or do you still see some of the same basic needs that people have?
I think mobilizing relief after any disaster at the crux will have, some similarities, right? People are going to need emergency food. They're going to need water. They're going to need a place to stay. They're going to need some clothes. They're going to need just a safe place to be so that they can sit down and think. They're going to need a hug. Here in Georgia, the Red Cross has actually taken on a pretty significant piece of the recovery from Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. We have been receiving patients who have been medically evacuated here in the Atlanta area, and we've been providing them and their families with financial resources and support and help to help navigate the city while their loved ones are here getting medical treatment.
Davina Mims, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now let's go to Montgomery, Alabama, and find out what the Reverend Richard Williams from Aldersgate United Methodist Church are doing there. They have a program called Operation Relief. Let's take a look.
Aldersgate's mission has always been to know Jesus and to make him known, with a heavy emphasis in missions that is one globally, domestic, as well as local. And so we've collected items before for previous other storms, but we've never seen an interest like this before. And we believe that is really a blessing from God, from us being able to connect not only with our local congregation, but with congregations from our neighbors of other local United Methodist Church, as well as other community organizations who have connected and partnered with us, that we would be able to support this work of Operation Relief, as well as our partnership with UMCOR, which serves as a great resource for hygiene kits and cleaning buckets. Today, we'll actually be meeting here for our weekly midweek gathering. And so today we'll, in this area over here, we'll have dinner together. And after dinner, volunteers will then move over to the other side where it will be filled with resources in the center, where they'll almost make a shopping center in the center, and they'll be assembling hygiene kits as well as cleaning bucket kits, which are really important for those who are, who are not able to be at home. So they're able to have a washcloth, toothpaste, and really essential items while they're there, as well as cleaning buckets, which are basically for mucking. Mucking out homes is the process where you remove that sheetrock and those items that have been damaged by water, and then they're able to use the aerator that's also inside the kit, and gloves and trash bags and just a whole bunch of resources that are basically there to assist others who have been devastated by the floodwaters. It's just been a major undertaking as a church, and we've done, collecting items for hurricane relief before, but the difference this time is that we've had a massive partnership between local high schools, junior league, and then other United Methodist churches, as well as other churches in our local community. And so it's just been a really great process to be able to meet our neighbors and create more of a community. And so, when Jesus tells us to be his hands and his feet, this is an opportunity where we're literally able to do that. And we're just really living into our mission, where we know Jesus and we make him known. One greatest partnership has been our local congregation here at Aldersgate United Methodist Church, where it's a congregation that has 3 different worship experiences, and they have all came together from Sunday school classes to different local ministries of our one local church. And we've also seen other United Methodist churches in the surrounding Montgomery area, as well as other partner churches in the neighborhood as well. We've seen community and civic organizations such as the Sunset Rotary Club, to the Junior League, even to a group of Master Gardeners. And so we're just excited that we're able to be a hub in a space where people can come together to be able to serve Jesus in this way. The plan is to head actually down to the affected area with Hurricane Harvey. And so that's heading down to Texas. And so we actually this week on Friday and Saturday, we have emergency response training where we'll be preparing our teams to actually head out to the Texas area. And so our plan is to head to Texas, as well as in the near future, as well as to make kits and provide more support to those neighbors who are in Florida as well. This is considered a hygiene kit, and UMCOR kind of guides us along the way. The kit includes Band-Aids, washcloth, even a nail clipper, a toothbrush, and toothpaste. And so it's really just a great item when you think about, even a washcloth. When you lose everything, you don't even have a washcloth anymore. And so this is the basis of the hygiene kit. And then the other items that we're assembling are these cleaning buckets. And a cleaning bucket basically has these different cloths and sponges and gloves and aerators and other cleaning products that are able to help people to muck out homes and to be able to start the rebuilding process. For the past few weeks, our prayer teams have been praying for those who have been affected by the storm. This past week in our midweek gathering, we took a time together to write letters to those who were affected by the storm, not saying that we actually knew their name, but we knew them as neighbors and as brothers and sisters in Christ. I think God really calls us at times to not to actually have to know the person's name to pray for them, but you can pray for those who are even unknown and sometimes known requests. And so our members have taken time to write these different messages. And if you read them, it's just really impressive. One starts off and it says, "It's hard to know what to say during a time like this, but I've been very blessed in my life that I have not been touched by a catastrophe like this. But know that God is with you, and I can only see from pictures like this what you may be feeling, but know that we're praying with you, and that God will continue to be with you, and that we'll continue to hold your hand and be your brother and sister in Christ, for you are not alone."
Unfortunately, disasters occur just about every day in some part of the world. There's no way to prevent them. They're just a part of life. And what we need to do as a world, and certainly here in the United States, is be prepared for them. My name is Gary Petty. I work as a media relations specialist with FEMA. To help individuals prepare for natural disasters, I always recommend to the people to download the FEMA app. There's a list of suggested items that people need to maintain in their house, readily available, up to date, so that they can use when that disaster occurs. Some people don't feel comfortable with filling out the application online, registering online, or even a phone call, or even going and downloading the FEMA app and registering that way. They want that face-to-face contact. And as time goes on, there will be places that will be opened up throughout the various counties where people can actually come and talk to a person face-to-face. Already here in Duval County and some other surrounding areas, that's already occurring. And we encourage people when they hear about that to take that time, if they are so reluctant to go online or make the phone call, to actually come to those centers and actually talk to someone face-to-face. Now there'll be some information that will be needed. One will be their Social Security number. They'll need a good physical address of where the property is located. They'll need a good contact number, and they will need their insurance information. The other thing that they'll need is their bank routing account number. And the reason for that is if they qualify for FEMA assistance, that money will be deposited directly into their account. The other thing that the survivors need to know is that there are what they call critical needs. And when somebody registers, and depending on the answers to their questions, they can get up to $500 immediate assistance to help them take care of immediate needs. Those immediate needs may be medicine, they may be diapers, and some other things that they qualify for. What citizens sometimes do not realize is that FEMA offers grant money. That money is set aside to help individuals who have suffered through a damage to their house to recover from that. Now, the individual assistance funds will not make a household whole. It helps to allow them to move back into their house and live in a safe, sanitary, functional house. Now, sometimes there is some misconception about that. Sometimes people think that FEMA's grant money will make them whole. Their first approach should be to contact their insurance company And FEMA's next part is to try to supplement what the insurance company pays so that they can move back into their house and then continue to make the necessary repairs to the rest of their house. Survivors can apply for FEMA grant money every time a disaster occurs when that county is declared a disaster county by the president. It doesn't matter if, like in the case here in Florida, last year some people applied for FEMA grant money because of Hurricane Matthew. This time around, they can apply again for FEMA grant money. So don't limit yourself. Don't say to yourself, I'm not eligible again because I got disaster assistance funds last time. No, you can get disaster assistance funds again this time. There is immediate help for those individuals, those survivors, who cannot live in their house in a safe environment. They can be put into a hotel, stay there till their house can become functional again. Last final word is, I encourage everyone who has suffered any type of damage to their home to register. Take the 10 to 15, 20 minutes to register online, or to call the number, or to download the app, or actually go see one of our people at one of the centers so that you can have that face-to-face contact and register. Don't wait to the last minute, as many people are experiencing shortage of food, shortage of water, and it's just best to be prepared because Florida is a hurricane-prone state, and it's just vital that they be prepared and also look out for their neighbors.
My name is Nikki Gaskins. I'm a media relations specialist for FEMA. One of the main things we try to tell people that if you suffer some type of loss or damage, it's so critical to register with FEMA whether you have insurance or you don't have insurance. We are your first step to help you get you back on your road to recovery. It's a simple process. There's a number of ways people can register. There's the phone number, the 1-800-621-3362 number, 1-800-621-FEMA. We're trying to really push people to go onto our website, disasterassistance.gov, to register. As you can imagine, hurricanes have impacted a lot of people across the state of Florida, so our phone numbers are overwhelmed. That is certainly an option. If you do want to call that number, you certainly can, but just anticipate a wait and have patience. If you call that number, the best time to do so is early in the morning or in the evening. We like to tell people that if they have damage or suffered some type of loss directly as a result of hurricanes, to register as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last minute because you do not have an unlimited amount of time to apply. 60 days from the date the disaster was declared is the deadline. So we try to encourage people to register right away, get on the ball, and don't procrastinate and wait to the last minutes. People often ask us what are some of the things we assist them with. We can assist them with a variety of things. The most important one is obviously home repairs. Other things may include rental assistance, in some cases even funeral expenses and medical assistance as well, even childcare. So it really depends per individual. Everyone's case is going to be different, so that's why it's so critical to register with FEMA so we can kind of assess what kind of assistance you may need. People often ask us what they need to do to kind of start the recovery process. Besides registration, we tell them they do not need to wait for someone, a FEMA inspector, to come to their home to start the cleanup process. In fact, we encourage you, as soon as you can, start the cleanup process right away. However, with that said, we want you to go ahead and document the damage. Take photos, take video, keep any receipts related to this disaster. That's critical. That's going to help us with your application process. A lot of people have the misconception that they have to keep the damage in place and wait till a FEMA inspector comes to their home to document the damage. That's not true. We want you to clean up the process, clean up the damage right away. After an inspector comes to your home within several weeks, you should get what's called a determination letter. That will say what you're eligible for. Sometimes people are denied federal assistance because oftentimes it's because of the process. We still need additional information. Maybe you didn't submit your insurance information because by law, FEMA can't duplicate insurance payments. We're going to want to see your insurance information right away. So make sure when you do register, you file with your insurance first. There's going to also possibly be other reasons that state why maybe your federal assistance wasn't granted. So it's so critical to pay attention to that letter. It is not the final decision by any means, and you do have the right to appeal it. So if you do receive a letter and it's not what you're anticipating, know that it is not the end-all, be-all. You can appeal it. Unfortunately, during a time such as this, with hurricanes devastating so many homes and just putting people in their most vulnerable state, there are bad people out there who like to take advantage of that, unfortunately. We like to tell people that when a FEMA inspector comes to your home, they will not ever ask for money. If they do, take that as a red flag. Also, unfortunately, it's not enough just for a person who claims to be with FEMA to come with a logoed shirt. Unfortunately, anybody nowadays can go online and buy a shirt that says FEMA on it. You can go online and buy a police outfit, for crying out loud. So we try to tell people to practice caution and use your judgment. If it doesn't feel right at the end of the day, call the police. We'd rather you be safe than sorry.
We want to thank FEMA and our 2 teams out of Florida for those reports. Now, if you want to know more information, here's the number to call, 1-800-621-3362, or you can go to their website at disasterassistance.gov. Again, that's disasterassistance.gov. Finally, before we go, research has shown 1 out of 3 families struggles with buying diapers. Sometimes they have to make the decision between paying a bill, buying food, or getting diapers. But there is an organization in Virginia Beach that's here to help. Let's take a look.
I'm Ann Farrell Tata, and we are on location in Chesapeake, Virginia with the Greater Hampton Roads Diaper Bank, and my guest today is Cher Leadbeater. You are the executive director of the Greater Hampton Roads Diaper Bank.
That is correct, Ann, and I'm really grateful to be here today.
Well, we're so happy you're here, and I want to hear all about your organization and your heart behind it.
Well, in June of 2012, my daughter and her husband were visiting, and they had a then 9-month-old little girl. And I was holding her and playing with her, and then there was a news segment on TV that talked about babies staying in the same diapers all day long. And it was like a knife in my heart. It was like, what? You know, that's not possible. And so I continued to listen, and I heard that, you know, caregivers were reusing disposable diapers, and these just visions of these poor babies with these horrible diaper rashes. It was just more than I could handle, and still.
Yeah.
But it was like right then, you know, God just kind of zapped me and said, okay, you have to do something. And at the time, I had already made plans to retire. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to do something. But obviously, God knew what I was going to do.
Right.
So I just immediately started researching and found out more. The closest diaper bank to us was in Richmond, which made no sense because if they couldn't buy a diaper, they couldn't go to Richmond to get diapers.
Right.
I started emailing, and I got in touch with Frank Allen of Hope Charitable Services in Portsmouth. And together we co-founded the Greater Hampton Roads Diaper Bank. We started out with 4 partners, and we're delivering about 2,000 diapers a month. Today we are up to 40 partners and deliver about 30 to 35,000 a month now. At the same time, you know, I also started researching adults and found out that adults were staying in their apartments or their homes. They were becoming recluses because they could not afford diapers. And you know, that just really touches my heart because they've worked all their lives and now they can't even go out and enjoy themselves because they can't afford a diaper. And you know, many times it could be your grandmother, but she's not going to talk to you about not being able to afford a diaper. So, you know, it's something that we really all need to be aware of and, you know, to help people open up.
It's so interesting. The need is so great. You wouldn't think that this would be such a pressing problem.
It is. You know, 1 in 3 families struggle with diaper need, which means that a lot of times they're choosing between diapers and food, or diapers and an electric bill, or diapers and a mortgage payment. So, you know, you'd be surprised at the great need there is out there.
So talk a little bit about volunteers.
The more volunteers we get, the more people is going to hear about us. We can also use people who will hold diaper drives. You know, we'd love for the churches to hold diaper drives, and We do Stuff the Truck events at grocery stores, and we could use people to help us do that.
Do you ever get to meet the end user, the families of the people that you serve?
We do occasionally. If a mother or a caregiver is having a problem on a weekend or something, sometime when we cannot get them in touch with an organization, then we will actually take diapers to them until we can hook them up with an organization.
So you have emergency diaper?
We do. We
situation
will
too.
take care of them.
You obviously have a deep faith. Can you tell us more about that story?
Especially since I've had the diaper bank, you know, I'll be like, okay, God, you know, you sent me the people, you know, I don't have any diapers, where are they?
Yeah.
And I mean, I have gotten a call in the middle of a supermarket one day, and I had no diapers, and somebody said, oh, you're getting a truckload of diapers. And I mean, I was just like, praise God, and I'm just thanking God right there in the middle of the store.
If you want to know where the closest diaper bank is where you live, the information is right there on your screen. Well, we want to thank our friends right here at the American Red Cross for allowing us to come by and do our show from here. We hope you've seen something that can help you or someone you love. That's our show today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Joy in Our Town on TVN.